Evening, everybody from the Meadow and Armagh Road, and welcome to our area news for this week. So it's a bit short and sweet this week because I have somewhere to go shortly, and this is where we'll start off this week. I'm sure many of you have heard the very sad and tragic news that came from Drummalane. Yesterday morning, where a young girl, a 20-year-old girl, very sadly lost her life in dreadful and tragic circumstances. So I just wanted to mention our fellow community association there over in Drummalane and Quayside Close, and wanted to convey our thoughts and good wishes to the community association there. I did message Jerry yesterday. I know he was extremely busy all day with interviews and supporting his neighbours within the community. Just wanted to really commend them for such a wonderful job they did yesterday on offering support, keeping people updated, and supporting the police investigation in a very dignified, respectful and very sensitive manner. I know it was an extremely difficult day for the residents there and for the community association, and following this broadcast this evening, myself and Noreen from our community association will join the folks over in Drummalane at the prayer vigil for Patricia, and there's nothing very much more that any of us can say except, you know, rest in peace, and such a tragic end to a young life of a beautiful girl. But we'll be over with our fellow community association members in Drummalane at that prayer vigil following this broadcast. So I just wanted to start off by addressing that. Moving on, so this week still our community centre is not opened, and we're awaiting further guidance from the executive as to if and when that can happen. But we did have an activity last week, was the kids' summer fitness camp, which took place over in the tennis courts across from the community centre, and the kids had a wonderful week. I think Cahill was there. They played lots of games and had great crack, and good fun was had by all, and that was a really, really good event. Another thing that we are running now next week is the go-karting for the over 12s. So we have girls and boys who will be going to the Formula go-karting on down the Warrenpoint Road next week. So those children are looking forward to that, just something a bit different for them. So that'll be happening next week. And I think all of the names are in, and we'll be posting up about that just to make the final arrangements. There will be transport to and from the venue, and hopefully the kids will have a good time. It's always very, very popular, that activity. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is our uniform swap. So we're going to enter the final week for that. Already we've got quite a number of uniforms, school uniforms hanging up over in the community centre, really good quality uniforms, and we will continue to take them in until next Wednesday, which is Wednesday the 8th, or is it Wednesday the 12th of August, and then we will look at how we will distribute those by obviously adhering to the social distancing guidelines. Obviously the community centre is closed to the public, so we'll organise how we'll distribute those uniforms and get them to the people who need them. So it's basically a uniform swap. You won't need to pay for your uniform. Maybe if you just send us a message to the Facebook page if you think that you could do with a bit of support, and we'll let you know maybe what we have, and we can arrange for pickups, etc. So that uniform swap still going on, and we're delighted that we've had such a good response to that so far. So you've got just over a week. If you've got any school uniforms knocking about that you won't be needing in the next term and the next year, we would very gladly take them from you and give them to someone who maybe needs a little extra support with that. So thanks for that. Another thing, there are two charitable endeavours that I wanted to talk about this evening. So PIPS are having a bucket collection on the 14th of August, and they are looking for volunteers who might stand for an hour or two, or whatever time that you can give, to collect for PIPS, which is a really, really vital and important group, not only in Newry, but right across Northern Ireland. But Seamus and the guys down there in Mill Street provide a wonderful service, an invaluable service. And of course, with COVID, that's impacted a lot of our charities and their fundraising, etc. So if there's any way that you could help with that, just giving a bit of your time, even if it's a half an hour, I'm sure everything will be very gratefully received. So get in contact with the office there if you would like to put your name down to help with that. Another charity that we are really glad to talk about is the Road Safe NI, and we have our own branch of Road Safe NI, Newry Morning Down, and the folks down there are they've been working quite a lot over the last number of months. We, in conjunction with they've released the Polly Project short documentary about how traffic accidents impact lives, and it's all local people who took part in that Polly Project documentary. Also affiliated with the A1 How Many More Must Die project for the upgrading of the A1 dual carriageway between Newry and the Hillsborough roundabout. But if you just put that graphic back up for me, Cathal, what they've done, they've launched this campaign called the Driver's Pledge, and basically what they would like people to do is go to the Road Safe NI Facebook page, and you can find the post about the Driver's Pledge. And basically what they're asking you to do is to pledge that you will, 1, respect the speed limit, 2, leave your phone alone when you're driving, 3, never drive when you're tired, 4, never drink and drive, and 5, belt up in both the front and the back seats of the car. So what they want to do is to encourage drivers to click on the link there and to take that pledge. And it's a great initiative in aid of better road safety, which obviously will be beneficial to all of us. There have been far too many lives lost on our roads, and others who have been really badly impacted by traffic collisions. So we would be delighted as a community association if you would support that campaign to make our roads safer. So as I said, if you go on the Facebook page, it's Road Safe NI, and there's a Road Safe NI Newry and Mourne charity, which is local, and Patricia O'Neill works on that, and they do sterling work. They've done great programs within schools to raise awareness for young drivers, etc. They've done, as I said, they've done the Polly Project, which has had thousands upon thousands of views, a very impactful film about young lives that were lost and other lives that were impacted on our roads. So we'd be delighted if you could do that. Another thing that happened this week, or happened and didn't happen, I spoke about it before, the illumination of the Hobeline Lighthouse down at Cranfield in Carlingford Lough. Now, I'm a member of Newry Maritime Association, and this is the 5th year that they've externally illuminated that lighthouse for the month of August. And this year specifically, they've illuminated the lighthouse in blue lights, and that's specifically to recognise our NHS staff and frontline workers who have all sacrificed so much over the last number of months with the COVID-19 pandemic. What's also happened is we've tried to create a corridor of blue lights from Carlingford Lough right up into Newry. So there are a number of buildings and monuments that are also going to be lit in blue from 9:30 every night until midnight. So that starts off from Carlingford, moving up the Ross Monument in Rostrevor, across the loch. The Grandview Hotel have blue lights as well. Warrenpoint Town Hall, Newry Town Hall, and all of the bridges across the canal. And that is in homage to our key workers. Unfortunately, on Friday night, the lighthouse was to be illuminated at 9:30, and we waited and we waited, and there were many hundreds of people down there, and we were absolutely delighted that we had quite a lot of our emergency services represented there. We had Mourne Search and Rescue. We had the community search and rescue teams, which do a phenomenal job when they look for missing people. A lot of the time, that group of people, you only hear the tragedies when, unfortunately, some poor soul is found and in terrible circumstances. But there are so many people that they successfully find and return to their families. We also had the Northern Ireland Ambulance Service, the PSNI, Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service. So we had representation from a lot of our key workers there. But unfortunately, we had a technical issue, and the back of the lighthouse was lit up on the Carlingford end, and the front on the Cranfield end didn't light. But thankfully, the next morning, we got that sorted out. And on Saturday night, the actual illumination did take place. Not a whole heap of disappointment, because it was such a beautiful night in Cranfield, 16 degrees. It was absolutely gorgeous. And there was a van selling dinky donuts and coffee. So we were all okay. But if you can, in the month of August, take yourself down to see in the evening time that lighthouse lit up, because it's absolutely beautiful. And if you go on our Newry Maritime Association page, you'll actually see footage, live footage from inside the lighthouse, where Stephen Rooney from Cranfield, who is a young artist as well, very talented lad. That particular photograph was from Joseph Lennon, who lives here. But Stephen Rooney has many photographs and video footage up of inside, a tour of inside the lighthouse. It's really interesting. And have a look on the Newry Maritime page, and you can see the footage of that. So that's another thing that you could maybe do for the month of August. Some evening, go down and have a look at that. And finally, we only have 2 birthdays this week. So we have, who's this coming up first? We have our lovely Dominica Chikavska. Dominica is a fitness instructor in Newry Leisure Centre, but more importantly, she is one of our community food bank volunteers. And we have grown to know and love Dominica in the last 4 months. She's such a great girl and still very involved in our community association, and we hope that that continues. Happy birthday to you, Dominica, from all of us agents in the community food bank. I'm sure you'll get some interesting messages on our WhatsApp group. And also to the lovely Margaret Trainer. And it's Margaret's birthday, and I believe that herself and himself celebrated an anniversary as well in the last week. So big happy birthday to Margaret. Hope you had a lovely day, and you're looking great, girl, as always. So as I said, this was quite short and sweet this week, because our community centre isn't open and our food bank is finished. There's not a whole big heap of stuff within the community to chat about, but I hope the rest of what I spoke about was of interest to you. So as I say goodbye now, I'd ask you all to keep young Patricia and her family in your prayers, and also the neighbours and the community association in Drumlane keep them in your prayers as well. And until next week, thanks and good evening.